What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for August 6, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. It is Tuesday. That means it's time for a little dose of positivity / motivation. And today we're going to continue our men's issue. This is the third out of 4 installments. And today we're going to cover something that I think everyone to some extent goes through, has some trouble and issues with, and that's money and your job and things like that. And this is always a tough one because I feel as though both of them are intertwined, your money, your job, obviously. But personally, this one really hits home for me. I feel as though I'm in a thankless job. And it goes with the territory. I'm not looking for a pat on the back or anything like that. But as an administrator in education, specifically a cyber school, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I get shit from my employees, even if I'm just implementing something. This year in particular, it's going to be a tough start to the school year, and I know that going into it. And 99% of the things that I'm going to get shit about, I don't have any control over. And in some of the cases, I feel the exact same way as my teachers. However, you got to put on the brave face and walk the company line or whatever. And then I get shit from the parents because of this, that, and the other. And then shit from society. I mean, people that work in education, I feel as though get zero respect, yet get blamed for everything. And then when we do try to do what you complain to us about, we get shit for that too. So it's just one of those things. And again, this is, for lack of a better way to put it, this is the life I chose. But even for me in a cyber school, I get, even from friends sometimes, I get called, oh, you're a fake principal. The state wants to take money from us. And for me, I feel as though where I work, and I'm sure there's other people out there that do jobs that don't get the respect they need. But the kids that I teach come to me for a specific reason, and it is something that's needed. And I'll be the first to admit, everybody says, would you send your kids to your school? And I would not because I don't think my school is good enough for my kids. My kids would not be able to handle the more of the independence and not being social. But we have kids that come to us that cannot handle that. They were bullied for whatever reason. They have some social and emotional things going on, and it's the perfect fit for them. But unfortunately for me, though, because it is cyber, because it is a charter school, that tends to lead to lower pay, which opens up a whole other can of worms, which is why I said these things are intertwined. And I feel everybody can fit into this and relate to this. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying this, but money and status are important no matter what people say. The saying, keeping up with the Joneses, I mean, I feel as though that's just sort of the way it is. I look at my current situation. I live in a great area. It's pretty affluent in some aspects, where depending on where you go. It's a very good school district, but I find it sometimes hard not to compare yourselves to everybody else. I know my wife is very big on, is our house big enough? Is it our house nice enough? We should do this. We should do that. And for me, I feel the same way. I just can't let her know that. So if you know her, don't tell her I said this. But those are things I think about all the time. And it goes back to some of the things we've talked about on this and comparing your page 10 to somebody else's page 900. But it's hard not to get caught up into that. And for me, I was raised very blue collar. I have that mentality still. I always tell everyone I'm blue collar in a white collar world. Not afraid to roll up my sleeves. And I think being the first person in my family to go to college and graduate, I think plays a role in that. It was something that was important to my dad. But to get to that sort of, all right, we got to remodel the house, we have to do this. I always wonder, and maybe you wonder this too, maybe you're one of the people that do this. I am very, very afraid of credit card debt. And I don't know whether it's because of the experience I had in college, getting the free t-shirts, this, that, and the other, or what, but I can't justify doing certain things and then putting myself into debt and then not being able to do other things I want. And I don't know. Like, and if you're in this situation, I just, like, people are like, oh, we're going to my shore house. And I'm like, I can barely afford to, like, my base or bathroom upstairs has been leaking, and I can't afford right now to pay for that, let alone a vacation house. But you kind of, sometimes my advice, and this is sort of what gets me through. And again, I'm not sitting here saying I have it all figured out, because almost daily I'm like, damn, I wish I was that. I wish I was that. And when you compare yourself to the Joneses or the Johnsons or whoever your neighbors are, is just take a step back and look at where things are, because the kids are able to do whatever they want. I have Eagle season tickets. We go on multiple vacations. Sometimes they're not weeks long, but we're able to do that. And I look at it from like a quality of life. And like those, I think, are the things that are important. And the other thing to keep in mind is no matter how shitty your job is, and this is definitely something that keeps me focused and motivated throughout my school year and throughout my job, is no matter how shitty your job is, somebody out there would kill to have your shitty job. So that's sort of one of those things that keep me going. That, and I have like a countdown clock mentally of December 5th, 2038, I'm retiring, but that's a whole nother issue for another day. And when you're looking at your house, no matter how crappy or small your house is, somebody out there would kill for your small and crappy house. So just, and if you're not happy about it, do something about it. And I know that's easy to say. I'm not saying go out and put yourself in debt, because that's not something that I'm willing to do. If you're willing to do it, go out and put yourself in debt. But even small, do small changes, do things and work hard toward it. And just do something that makes you happy. And like one of the ways I do get through my job, as tough as it is sometimes, is this podcast, talking to you guys every day. And working hard at that, because it does bring me joy. It's a huge stress release. Yes, I get up early to do it, but it just gives me something to look forward to every moment, and just be proud of what you got. And I think you'll be fine. But I think the money and job status and things like that, that's something that everybody, like I said, I don't think I'm going out on a limb with that. And to me, it's something I struggle with all the time. Probably even more so than the body image that we talked about yesterday or last week, because to me, it's hard no matter where you go, whether you're going to the grocery store, driving your kids somewhere, going to the pool, going to the park, birthday parties. It's a constant, it's always in your face, and it's easy to get caught up in that. And I'm sitting here giving you the advice. I have to remind myself that too. I don't want you to think I'm coming off here preachy, but just, and if you can make a change in your job, if you're not happy with your job, do something you love. Like I said, I'm coming up on 2 years doing This Day in Philly Sports History every day, and haven't missed a day yet. And no matter sick, vacations, whatever, but to me, like, I have the end goal, and it does help me to sort of prioritize and get through things. And I do apologize if this is kind of like a rambling thing, but I do feel like with these men's issues, these are things in one way or the other we can all relate to. So the Joneses are the Joneses. To me, for us, it's the Montgomerys are the Montgomerys. Whatever your last name is, whoever you are, be you. Know that everybody is different, and you don't know, because you see stuff on social media and you see this and you see that. People only put on social media what they want you to see. You don't see the behind the scenes stuff. Even with the videos and things like that, you don't see the outtakes and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind when I try to explain this to my wife all the time. I'm like, you're seeing the finished product. You're not seeing the outtakes. You're not seeing the struggle to get there. You don't know how long it went. You don't know struggles and things like that. You don't know if they're all of a sudden $50,000 in debt but they have the nice, and it's a struggle, because sometimes it's like, well, maybe I should, but then at the same time, what am I giving up to get there. So that was today's Tuesday motivation, positivity. Hopefully you can take something away from that. But again, it's a struggle out there for us, and we're not supposed to, and that's the whole point of this four-part series. We're not supposed to feel this way. We're supposed to have it all under control and be the Rock. But guess what? We're not, and it's okay because, like I said, this is something I struggle with every single day. I'm going into the office today for work, and it pisses me off that people make just as much money as me that live in the middle and like the more remote rural parts of the state and live like kings and queens. But because of where I live, I'm like lower middle class, technically. You go out there, they're like the king of whatever county or whatever. So know that it's going to be a struggle for me. I didn't plan this the way it is, but it's going to be a struggle for me today. But hopefully you can take something out. And if you do need to talk, hit me up. Social media, reach out to me separately. Go talk to a therapist. I stand by that 100%. Has done wonders for me. But just know that you are not alone. And that has been today's Tuesday Motivation / Positivity, our third in a 4-part series on men's issues. Next week, relationship and marriage issues. And that's going to be a fun one. Love you, Abby. But if you do need to talk to someone, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, which of our 4 major teams have the best fan experience? And it was pretty much split between the Flyers and the Eagles. Flyers came in with 45%, Eagles with 36%. Flyers games are fun, and they are. I forgot how it's been so long since the Flyers have been good, but the Flyers experience when they're good is a good one. And a lot of people wrote in that just taking in a game at Citizens Bank Park sometimes is an awesome experience too. But the Flyers were your vote for most excellent, I guess you could say, as Bill and Ted would say, most excellent fan experience. Thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. And before we get into the Phillies, I'll give you today's question of the day because I'm not sure if anybody was able to watch this game. At 10:10 start time, I get up at 4 o'clock. I'm back on my school routine now, trying to get my body back adjusted to waking up. So I was at the gym at 4:15. Did you stay up to watch the game, and do you stay up to watch West Coast weeknight baseball? 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. You can also hit me up on social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Comment right wherever you're watching this. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, like the podcast, leave a review, all that good stuff, because we do have some momentum going here, and I want to keep this going into football season. Spread the word, tell your friends. It's a good listen on vacation when you're driving to the shore, all of that good stuff. But the question of the day, do you stay up to watch West Coast baseball, or more importantly, can you stay up? But do you stay up to watch it? During the week, no chance. Even 8 o'clock games in the Central Time Zone are tough for me. But let me know, 267-495-8531. Get anything else Philly sports related off your chest. Want to still vent about the Phillies? Maybe we were a little premature in saying they were back. 5-3 they lost. Top 5 hitters went 3 for 15. Cannot have that. Just when we thought they were back, they go, and as I like to say all the time, Lucy with the football, she moved it again on us at the last second. Nola wasn't horrible. He had his one bad inning, which I feel as though he's like that good Little League pitcher that if you can just get to him that one inning, sometimes it's enough, and that was the case last night. I will say that, again, I didn't watch any of the game. I haven't even seen the highlights, just kind of listened to the radio for a couple minutes on the way to the gym. But it does seem that Topper and Nick Castellanos both kind of said the same thing, that the energy is different. So maybe they're in their way to grinding out of this slump. Either way, they've lost 7 of 8, 5.5 games up now. Cristopher Sanchez tonight, we need a good outing from him. And would love to see a better than 3 for 15 from your top 5 hitters. Well, maybe not hear about it, but I won't be up for it, but let me know. Question of the day. Do you stay up to watch West Coast baseball when the Phillies are out west? They're coming home next week, so it won't be long now. But let me know. 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Kind of working with them for coming up with some ideas to do some cross sort of whatever with them. So they're available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then check out Philly Goat. It's back to school time. Go do some shopping for your kids. Hopefully, unless we have the same epic collapse that the Eagles had, Philly should be playing in the postseason. The way they're playing right now, though, it won't be long. So maybe you get your shirts now, but get your kids ready for that. Eagles season is coming up. Sixers, Flyers. The Union have been playing better. They got you all covered. Get the stickers for the water bottle, and then use the promo code Jim Montgomery, all one word, for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Speaking of the Eagles, hopefully the video I saw yesterday will finally put to bed any lasting and lingering concerns about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Jalen was driving Big Dom's golf cart. Nick Sirianni was riding shotgun. They were playing around with the camera, blasting some music, having some fun. Sure as heck didn't look like guys that don't get along. So hopefully that's enough to put that to bed. And then the big announcement yesterday, which I thought was pretty cool. The video was awesome. Jalen Hurts is the flag football ambassador for the 2028 Olympics. Is he going to be the new face of the league? Is he the guy that's going to step up and take over for Patrick Mahomes? That would be great. And especially if he's going to win the MVPs and the Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has. But we'll see. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if that means NFL players will be playing in the 3-on-3, but he is the face and the ambassador of flag football for the 2028 Olympics. Couple injury notes from yesterday. Nothing official yet, but Cam Jurgens and C.J. Gardner-Johnson both left practice. Nick Sirianni didn't seem too concerned about it, but nothing official has come out yet as they gear up, and still no word whether the starters will play Friday. Something tells me they're going to get some time, whether it's a drive or two, kind of like Andy Reid used to do back in the day. All right, today is a big day in Sixers history. After moving from Syracuse to Philadelphia on May 22nd, the Syracuse Nationals officially received their new name on this day in 1963. The Philadelphia 76ers were born. Owners Irv Kozlov and Ike Richmond wanted to kind of have a clean break and a fresh start in Philly, so they wanted to get rid of the Nationals name, and it had been a couple years because of money reasons that the Warriors moved out to San Francisco. So in order to really kick off the new franchise, they wanted everything to be fresh. So they created a contest, a naming contest, like a lot of teams do. And basically, what is your nickname? And then 25 words to explain why that is the nickname. The winner, besides getting to choose the nickname for the team, would receive an all-expense-paid trip to San Francisco that December, I believe it was, to see the Sixers, or whoever the new team was, take on the old Philadelphia team, the Warriors. Less than 4,000 people put entrants in, and it just kind of was a testament to why the Warriors had to leave Philadelphia in the first place. But 9 people picked the 76ers. Ironically enough, that was not the most popular name. The Colonials was the most frequent name that was submitted, and the sports writers at the time who were helping Kozlov and Richmond with the naming contest, they were all about the Colonials. We were almost the Philadelphia Colonials. However, there was just something about the 76ers that Kozlov and Richmond liked. So out of the 9 entries, Walter Stahlberg gets credit out of Collingswood, New Jersey, for being the person responsible for the nickname 76ers. And his 25-word essay said, quote, No athletic team has ever paid tribute to the gallant men who forged this country's independence, and certainly Philadelphia, Shrine of Liberty, should do so. People were just different back then, man. Could you imagine somebody writing something like that today? Like for a naming contest? Like, I just picture an Eagles fan with their face painted up green screaming like, yeah! But that is how Walter Stahlberg so eloquently said the 76ers should be the name. Obviously, it could be shortened to Sixers, which was good for the newspapers, for headlines and things like that. And that is the story of how the 76ers got their name on this day in 1963. And the rest, they say, is Philly sports history. See what I did there? All right, finally today, our Philly Olympic spotlight. Allie Wilson from Wallingford, PA, Strathaven High School graduate, Monmouth University, and she is a track and field I would guess you'd call it middle distance. And unfortunately for Allie, she had a disappointing 2024 Olympics. She ran the 800 meters. She finished 6th in her heat, but was able to participate in the repechage. I think that's what it is, repechage. I think obviously it's a French word, but basically what they do is everybody who doesn't qualify gets a second chance to try to go. But she finished 3rd in her heat, and it was kind of an unfortunate / fortunate thing for her. She ran a good time, but the heat she ran in the repechage, whatever, in the redo, ended up being the fastest one, and she ended up being the first runner out of being able to move on. But Allie, you made Delco and Strathaven and the entire Philadelphia area proud. She still had a positive attitude about it. She is known for having a positive attitude. And Allie Wilson from Wallingford and a Strathaven High School graduate is today's Philly Olympic spotlight. Not the outcome she was hoping for, but she remained positive and gave it her all. And that is what the Olympics are all about. On this day in 1963, the 76ers officially got their name thanks to Walter Stahlberg of Collingswood, New Jersey, who was one of 9 people to submit the 76ers. But as he so eloquently said, it should be the 76ers. It should be Philadelphia. And that is how the Sixers got their name. We still are gearing up. Hopefully we find out soon whether some starters are going to play on Friday. I sure hope so. I want to see how this team does against another different NFL team, especially Baltimore, because Baltimore and John Harbaugh, he takes his preseason serious. So I want to see what they can do against a team that, at least for the first series or two when the starters are playing for Baltimore, hopefully the Phillies can come back. That all relies on Cristopher Sanchez's shoulders tonight. Come on, guys. Let's go. I will not be watching, but will you, I should say. That is the question of the day. 267-495-8531. Get your answers in, and then get anything else. Vent, whatever you need to do. All is fair game on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Hopefully, you were able to get something taken away out of today's positivity / motivation. Money and job stuff, it's one of those things you're always going to be comparing yourselves, and just keep in the back of your mind, somebody would kill for your shitty job. Somebody would kill for your house that you don't like or think could be better. And at the end of the day, don't compare your page 1 to somebody else's page 100. You'll get there. And maybe this is the motivation you need to get up and do something about it, no matter how small that might be. But we will finish up this men's issue spotlight next week with relationship and marriage issues. And like I said, that should be a fun one. But go have yourselves a Tuesday. It's going to be a stormy afternoon and evening. Hopefully that means it's going to cool things off a little bit. And then we got Hurricane Debbie. Poor Debbie's going to pound us, it looks like, this weekend, kind of washing it out. But I guess we need the rain. I don't know. But go have yourselves a Tuesday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for August 6, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.